Good stuff. Well, hey, we got our first guest here. It's Scott Cornell, National Practice Lead for Transportation Crime and Theft Specialist over at Travelers. And this time, Michael Vincent, it looks like he's on video. Scott, good to see you this time, my friend.
Yeah, I apologize that you're going to see me this time.
Sweet. We're looking forward to it.
It's good at that, but it's fun to do it this way, and I'm happy to be back. Thanks for having us.
Well, now that we can see you, where are you sitting right now? Where in the world are you at?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Lovely time to be in Phoenix right now. Well, when you come on, you usually tell us about all of the threats that are going on in cargo and delivery. We've gotten to labor shortage and all those things. But one theme we've been going a lot deeper into is peak season, because that is coming up. So hopefully we can talk to you today a little bit about thefts in peak season. And I want to focus on technology. Let's talk about that, Scott.
So last time we talked, we talked about how during the pandemic year 2020, we saw a shift. We've seen a lot of shifts. The commodities being targeted have flip-flopped a lot from 2020 until now. So between 2010 to 2020, food and beverage was the number one stolen commodity. Then we hit the pandemic year and we saw household goods take over that number one spot. But then in 2021, whether it was due to shortages, things like that, we saw a shift to electronics. And it was primarily being targeted in Southern California, very heavily in Southern California. Now, that's not to say we didn't see it all over the country. We did. But really heavy targeting in Southern California. That started second half, fourth quarter of 2021, and it's carried into 2022. We're still seeing some real targeting on that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So now it brings us up to here. We're in 2022. We're coming into the beginning of the holiday peak season, right? What can we look for? What are the trends that we should be looking for moving forward?
Well, as we always say during the holiday season, first of all, we always expect that kind of fourth quarter bump, right? And this year, everybody's saying that a lot of the Christmas cargo is going to be on the road a little bit earlier than it has been in the past, right? To try and get ahead of some of the supply chain issues and things like that. So we expect, that fourth quarter bump that we usually see. And we expect more targeting of electronics. Keep in mind, it's not just us out there shopping for Christmas. The bad guys are out there shopping for Christmas as well. And, it's going to be things like video game consoles, the latest tablets, TVs, cell phones, you name it. And we see some companies will actually have those loads. If it's brand new technology, let's say they're going to release a brand new phone or a brand new gaming console, sometimes we'll actually see those loads escorted. And we've seen that over the past probably 10 years really increase, where that first release, that stuff that you don't want anywhere except on the shelves when it comes to the market for the first time, actually having physical escorts and escort vehicles go with it out on the road.
Wow. I didn't know escorts were so prevalent. It sounds like the risk
I had no idea.
Is that what happens though when they make this theft? Where do they stash this stuff? Where are the stash houses? What are they doing with it?
So that's a great question. We've seen a big shift in that too over the last, let's say 5, maybe 10 years. So 10, 12 years ago, if you had a load of electronics or pretty much anything else, if you'd been doing this type of thing for a long time, I've been around cargo theft for 25 years or more, and there's several people out there to do it. You could pretty much figure out where, if it was stolen here, this is probably where it's going to go based on this commodity, things like that. And most of it would stay domestic. But over the last maybe 10 years, we've seen a slow shift to moving a lot of it internationally. And now I would say when it comes to electronics, we're seeing a good chunk of it moved internationally very quickly. And we think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's very traceable now, right? Almost everything you buy that's electronic is going to be tagged on the internet. You're going to register a warranty on the internet, or you're going to connect to the internet in some way, which makes it a lot more traceable. So we think that they don't want that sitting in the United States, as much as they used to. So they're trying to move it out of the country. Plus, there's a big market moving out of the country. The economy is a global economy, and cargo thieves are taking advantage of that as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. In a former life, I had a whole 40-foot container of flat screen TV stolen. We found the chassis the next day. It took them 24 hours. Boom. Is it possible for humans to get ahead of this? And before a load gets stolen and gets shipped out of the country, is there anything that we can do to prevent this?
Notification is key. The minute you think something's up, the minute a load isn't showing up when it's supposed to, or it's behind schedule, you can't get in touch with anybody uh, who you've worked with to move that load. You need to make notification. You need to bring in resources right away. Earlier immediate notification of a theft is key. That first 24 to 48 hours really increases your ability to recover. They're going to move as quickly as they can to launder the cargo, meaning they're going to take it out of whatever, if it was in a truck or a trailer or a chassis, or not a chassis, an intermodal container. They're going to try and move it out, put it in another container, put it into another truck, and sort of launder it so they can get it back into the supply chain, move it out across, across the globe, wherever it is that they intend to move it to. So the earlier your notification, the sooner you can cut off their ability to do that. And even if you put a lot of heat around the missing cargo, that makes it harder for them to move it and launder it.
So in my own past life, too, before I was sitting on this desk, on the other side of the desk, I was at brokerages and dealing with shippers. Late shipments can ruin relationships between brokers and carriers. What happens to the impact on relationships with stolen goods? Are these part of the agreements? How is this being handled right now?
It's exactly the same, right? I mean, if the load doesn't get there, it's the same impact. It's the same effect, right? So you see a lot of shippers actually have specific security requirements around some of their loads, how they want things transported, and the security they want put into place. Sometimes you'll actually see a separate contract. They'll have their regular shipper contract, and they'll have an actual security contract that's separate from that, and they have their expectations in there. We work with our clients a lot of times when they get that kind of an arrangement to get them up to speed, help them put all the things in place that they need to do. There are a lot of resources out there for companies that really want to up their security. One of the best ones that we talk about is TAPA, the Transported Asset Protection Association. This is a non-for-profit global organization that sets supply chain security standards across the globe. You can get TAPA certified, whether it's in truckload, warehouse, cyber standards. They put out great standards. So if you're looking for a reference point, how do we set these things up? You can use that. And as we've talked about in the past, we have our team here that works directly with our clients to help them set up those security standards if they need to and harden their supply chain. But it's going to damage a relationship if you have theft after theft. Mm-hmm. So to your point, it has the same impact as not delivered, late, things like that.
Yeah. So, Scott, I'm curious. You laid kind of down the timeline of different things that were being stolen throughout the pandemic and led us up to this point right here. I'm curious, and I'm sure many others are as well. Does inflationary trends have an effect or impact on what is being stolen or what is being targeted by these thieves?
Absolutely. The golden rule with cargo thieves is they're going to steal what they know they can sell. So if it's in high demand, if the value is up, right, whether it's because of inflation, because of demand, because of shortages, things like that, they're going to target those things. And we know that that's part of the targeting of electronics, is that there were shortages in 2021. So, that led them there, and the values are up. So they're going to target that kind of thing, and they're going to take advantage of that additional sales price that they can get on the back end, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? The economy goes down, costs go up.
Yeah.
What are people going to do? They're going to steal it and flood that black market.
Absolutely.
If they can. So you mentioned one of your tips was have the notifications, but wouldn't it even be better if we just didn't have them steal it in the first place? Is there some way we can prevent it so we don't need to have that notification?
Yeah, notification is critical, though. I can't stress that enough. The industry, when you look at some of the industry stats out there, related to notification, there is somewhat of a delay. We're actually working on some technology in the form of an app or a platform that would allow our clients to notify us quickly of a theft so that we can respond. So I can't say enough about instant notification as soon as you know, but prevention is key. We always say, let's try and prevent the thefts from happening. And our team that we talked about before is available 24/7, 365 for our clients, not only on a response, but to work on prevention. So we always take a 3-part process with our clients. And the first step is always going to be good process and procedures. Educating the drivers, making them aware of what's going on when it comes to theft, what they're hauling, where it's being stolen, how it's being stolen. And if you don't have these good process and procedures in place, how to park, when to stop, where to stop, secure parking, things like that, then the rest of it isn't really going to be as effective as you want it to be. So you have to have that good process and procedures in place. And the good news about those is most of the time those are free, right? It's just creating a culture around theft prevention and knowledge and understanding of it. The second layer is when you get into hard locking security devices, high security rear door locks, landing gear locks if you're going to stage the load, air cuff locks, things like that. And that's a good added layer. Use good quality products for that, added to your process on where to park, when to park, where to be, things like that, and the awareness around the drivers and educating the drivers. And then the last and third layer that we usually talk about is the use of technology, whether it's covert tracking, so that you can, geofence the loads, route fence the loads, have a better recovery. If you do have that instant notification and you have tracking in there, that's a great combination. Hey, we notified right away and we can track that load. That's going to really up your chances at recovering if you do have a theft. Here at Travelers, we provide a lot of training. Our consultants go out, evaluate the security protocols, like I said, and we work with the owners to try and put all these different layers in place so that they can prevent the thefts from happening in the first place.
Really good. Hey, Scott, thank you so much for your time today. Peak season's coming up. Protect your cargo, protect those relationships, have happy Christmas trees. Check out Travelers. Thank you so much, sir.
Great to see you guys. Take care.
You too.
Thanks, Scott.
Take it easy.
Excellent stuff, man.